Then enough of that Isekai bullshit we have been getting all season. We are doing something very different today. The protagonist for today will be a strong, independent... Sorry, not this type of strong, independent woman. We are talking about this type of gigachaddy today. The story also takes place in corporate America, the US of A, where taxation is inevitable and where orange chicken was invented. Somewhere downtown in California, a stylish green muscle car with a classic 80s design pulls up in front of a diner. The owner of this car is shrouded in a hoodie, so we cannot yet see their face. Evidently, from her monologue we know she has been driving the whole night to finally be where we are right now. In the diner, a couple in Hawaiian shirts is passionately declaring their love for each other, with excess references to Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet in every part of their conversation. In fact, the dude is literally named Romeo and the girl Juliet. The situation is getting out of control. First, they suck each other off with words of love. Now they are even holding hands while staring into each other's souls. Public indecency at its finest. Opposite of them, in front of a bar table, sits the owner of the green muscle car we just met, still masked with that hoodie. Let's go back to this stupid couple. Romeo raises Juliet's hands and with a sorrowful expression, he breaks rather unfortunate news to her. It seems they have spent the last bit of money on coffee and tips so they can no longer relocate without the finances. Oh no, the last bit of money on coffee, that is this dog water you say? Juliet comments with utter disapproval. Precisely. Serving this level of dog water coffee and charging so much is no different than robbery in daylight. But don't worry, honey. I have just the right idea to return the favor. With this Smith & Wesson .38, God will save them. What model freedom-loving and God-fearing Americans. A true patriot indeed, wanting to liberate the restaurant from themselves. To ward off Juliet's last bit of uncertainty, Romeo deduces that the restaurant will be insured, so no matter what physical damage they cause, the owner will not be impacted directly from financial damage. Though initially reluctant, Juliet comes to agree the execution of the plan. The shop must be punished for serving dog water coffee. She says so, as she pulls out another pistol from nowhere. Moved by her determination, Romeo leans over the table to share a passionate French kiss with his partner in crime. As soon as the lips separate, the two of them brandish their weapons and warn everyone that the diner is now a robbery scene in progress. Juliet, especially, is so into the character, as she casually drops an F-bomb like a good American citizen. This sudden shift in tension surprises our folk in hoodie. They are so surprised they let out a hawk tuah onto the bartender's face. The development is so cliché that hardly any modern gamers will find it scary. The robbers do not want to hear yapping from a hostage. They point their pistols at the hoodie figure and demands her to surrender her valuables. As she turns around, the hoodie finally drops and we get to see her face. Sitting in front of Romeo and Juliet with crossed legs is Daniella, a mommy with hot pants and jugger for days. Even though in a situation that should induce much adrenaline production, Daniella stays very relaxed, as if she is not even a little bit worried about her life. She further explains that she has another name that may be more familiar to the public, known as Danny the Bound. Hearing these words sends shivers down Romeo's spine. His eyes widen upon seeing a signature belt buckle in front of Daniella's hot pants. The AAA rank gunslinger, the legendary bounty hunter Daniella. It must be a mistake. Juliet points her pistol closer to the gunslinger's temple and prepares to strike, but it is already too late. In a flash, Daniella places her left hand over Juliet's pistol and simultaneously hits Romeo's forearm, making him miss the first shot. Now that she has her left hand on the pistol slider, Juliet cannot fire. While maintaining her hold on the slide mechanism, Daniella ducks under Juliet's arm to close the distance. Then she fists Juliet straight into oblivion. Romeo has no time to grieve because in the next instance, he will join her in Narnia with a karate kick to the head. The impact of this kick is definitely much harder than the fist given previously. Romeo is now knocked over on a booth sofa like a piece of contemporary art piece that can easily go over $1 million. The main perpetrators of this attack are taken care of, but the situation is far from over. Mercutio rises from nowhere to take revenge for his best friend Romeo. The neighborhood grandma appears behind Daniella to avenge Juliet with a double-barrel shotgun. If you are wondering why the f*** does everyone have a gun, just remember, this is America. Out of respect for taxpayers, Danielle avoids Grandma's 401k with a swift bullet to the face. Seeing the contrast between her cute appearance and fierce actions, the customers in the diner decide to stay quiet and mind their own business. The bounty hunter carries the robber couple and places them in her trunk, but that won't shut them up from committing further cringe to Shakespearean scholars. Even in the trunk, they keep citing words from Romeo and Juliet, as if they are reenacting the show itself. Daniella does not have time for their bullshit. She closes the driver's side vehicle door and drives away. During the drive, she receives a notification that she has unlocked a new skill, Badass Ver SS. Such is the reward for clearing a special event non-stop, even maintaining the AAA rank for more than half a year. As Daniella lets out an excited celebratory gesture, the dog tags above her chest wiggles as a result of her sudden movement. I'm looking very respectfully at these dog tags above her chest, definitely not the milk sacs below the neck. A phrase is engraved onto the metallic tag, Daniella's favourite quote from the movie The Last Boy Scout, "Ain't life a b***?" Though real life can be a b***, she is different in this world. Wait, so we are not in the real world, what the f***? It appears that I may have lied to you guys. We are in fact not in California. It was all inside a VR game that our protagonist dived into. As she wakes up from the immersive shooter game, she slumps into her gaming chair and looks outside of the window beside her table. A true gamer she is. Her desk is filled with piles of Monster Energy drinks, and there are trash bags scattered all over the place behind her chair, an average Asmongold viewer. It takes a while for reality to set in, but soon after, our girl in pajamas lets out a loud cheer, even jumping on her gaming chair. Unfortunately for her, there is no time to waste, as it is already 7:30 in the morning. She needs to get to work. Before she hurries outside of the door, she bids goodbye to an empty household. We can only imagine her parents went to buy milk and never returned. The game our girl was playing is a VR MMO called God Cops of Badass, or GOB for short. The world is set in a fictional criminal city on the west coast of America, called Los Angeles. However, we all know this is not fictional. If I don't hear the bang 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 in Los Angeles, I cannot fall asleep feeling at home. In this game, players can choose to be police or villain. The former will protect the street from the latter, and the latter's goal is to wreak as much havoc as possible to earn street cred. MC got hooked to this game from an advertisement and never stopped playing since. Since young, she has had a love for action-packed movies. Perhaps this explains her addiction to the immersive shooters game. At this moment, our girl finally makes it to the subway system and get to enjoy a brief moment of peace. She overhears two strangers talking about GOB right next to her on the train. They are very excited that Danny the Bound has gotten first place again in GOB. What kind of player must be behind the gaming device to be this good at the game? Perhaps she is a good-looking gal, or realistically just some ugly bastard controlling an attractive female character. Hearing this, MC gives off a death stare to the two strangers on the train, expressing her dissatisfaction to their wild imagination. It's been a journey, but our girl finally made it to the office. She works a desk job at the corporate sales department. If you know a little bit about Japanese working culture, it is that they will gladly work you to death if it is not illegal. As you can see to the left, the once badass gunslinger now looks drier than your mama after just a few hours of work. Like any good Gen Z employee, Daniella is not thinking about work when working. Her mind is still hooked on GOB and is so eager to try out the new skill she acquired this morning. But someone destroys her train of thought. Oh God, that is one ugly bitch. Without even moving her head, our girl can sense her Karen-ness all the way from Ohio. Karen A starts yapping about some random bull before revealing her true intentions. Apparently, one of her big league co-workers finally managed to mess up a deal with a major client, and as a result, the company now needs someone preferably young and attractive to rizz up some random ugly bastard. No one wants to rizz up some UB for the sake of their company, especially not Daniella, who is a strong, independent woman. She intends to refuse this task, but Karen A has just her weakness in hand. She simply asked one question. How is your aunt doing? Because MC entered the company through her aunt's connections, this will forever be a weakness for people who know. Now Rico has no choice but to go. Later, our girl transforms into an apology delivery woman and arrives at her client's doorstep. She enters the room, takes a deep bow and begins apologizing professionally. The middle-aged man does not seem slightly intrigued by her apology. He has his eyes set on something entirely different. The man stands up abruptly and offers to bring Rico to an anime bar for some drinks. All adults know that drinking is just an excuse for what comes after. The disgusting human junk delivers the invitation when reaching out his hand towards Riko's waste-producing region. Feeling the strange sensation behind her rear, Riko bolts outside the meeting room and runs off, narrowly avoiding a debut in the more mature manga session next door. For us viewers, I also recommend a cup of bleach to wash our eyes for what we have just witnessed. When Riko exits the building, it begins to rain. The last encounter with the old geezer was the final straw on her back. Riko can take it no more. She wants to quit the job altogether. She remembers her favorite quote from the movie The Last Boy Scout and decides to f*** all. After silently crying to herself for a while, she looks upward with a determined look in her eyes and starts driving towards her house. Is this a goddamn Isekai after all? This concludes Chapter 1. This is the only translated chapter available for now, but since this looks like a very promising series, I am eager to share it with all of you. If you liked this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching until the end.